Hi, Felipe. How are you?
Hello, Raya. I'm feeling good, thank you.
Great. Could you please introduce yourself?
I am Philippe. I am 16 years old. I was born in Santiago de Chile, but I grew up mostly in Germany, and now I live 50-50 in Germany and Dubai. And I'm in the middle of my second term in the school. I'm very into history. I enjoy politics as well, learning about what is currently going on, forming my own opinions about decisions and geopolitical events. Philosophy is also something which I enjoy very much personally. And economics is also something like economic trends, decisions, business as well, like what business decisions are being made around the world. Those are like my interests and my passions, what I like learning about.
It sounds like you're very tuned into what's happening in our world, and I'm
Yeah,
curious to go a bit deeper into that
yeah.
in our conversation today. Could you share a bit more about what drew you to School of Humanity?
Well, mostly it was due to my passions because in my older schools, of course, in traditional schools we have math, English, all those topics, and of course they're important. But I think in many traditional schools they overemphasize on those sorts of topics. And yeah, of course, it's important learning them, but those were not my passions. And I felt in many traditional schools that my passions were being like not recognized by the teachers and the curriculum. Like they didn't fit into those schools' curriculums. So when I learned about School of Humanity, I was very drawn into it because it said, take your passions and do whatever you want with them, do great things with them, and this school will be a great fit for you. So I looked at that and I said to myself, wow, I would love going to such a school. My family is very spread out around all across the world. I have family members in Chile, in Germany, and now we moved to Dubai as well with my mother and my stepfather and my siblings and my direct family. And yeah, I think the thing about this being on an online school is also something which can also help with that. Due to it being an online school, I can do it anywhere in the world. So I can get to see my father, who's in Germany. Every now and then I can go visit my other family members in Santiago de Chile. Yeah, I think that really fits into my way of living.
I love that. And sometimes there's a misconception that online schooling can be prohibitive or
Yeah.
constrictive. But if it's combined with the right fit, it actually is such a liberating experience because it
Yes.
gives you all this flexibility to travel, but also maybe to explore your passions deeper. I'm curious about some of the projects that you've been working on while with us. So you've enrolled in School of Humanity. You now get to focus on some of your passion areas. Tell us a bit more about where that's taken you.
I guess a few weeks ago, I was doing this skill unit. It was about financial literacy. It is also a topic which I like to dabble in very much. It's something that interests me with economies and business and everything. And there was this thing we had to do. We had to find like a business owner and basically interview them and ask them some general questions about business finance, like the difference between COGS and operating expenditures, how they manage their accounting, all sorts of questions, what business model they followed. And luckily for me, my stepfather is a business owner. So I went up to him and said, hey, can we do this interview for the school? And he said, of course. So we just sat down. I wrote down the questions on a notebook and I just directly asked him the questions. He decided to answer about one in particular, one he owns in Germany, which is like a social media management business, which basically you hire them to manage your social media. And it was very interesting. I got to know more about him as well because those were not questions which I really asked him before. And yeah.
That's amazing. I've always believed parents, grandparents are such fountains of knowledge.
They
They
are,
are
yeah.
filled with so much wisdom, and we don't take advantage enough of that as children or as
Yeah.
family members to ask and actually have those
Yeah, I've learned
conversations.
a lot about my family members. My grandmother, for example, she's waiting outside for me actually. She survived the Pinochet regime in Chile. So it was once we were on a holiday in Paris and we were just walking down the street and I just asked her about it, and for like half an hour, maybe like an hour probably also, she just explained to me how life was back then. Also, my grandfather, who is in Germany right now, he even survived the Second World War. He was in Germany when the Soviets came, and he had to like escape on a boat and everything. And he just tells these amazing stories of and knowledge. He also had an amazing life, my grandfather. So it's always so interesting to ask family members. They're really fountains of knowledge.
Yeah, I can see where the passion for history also comes from,
Yeah.
right? Because you can draw these links across generations. And speaking of learning, one of the ways that we learn at our school is through these interdisciplinary challenges. Now, I know you've been with us for about 2 terms so far, but do you have a challenge that stood out to you as a favorite challenge so far? And if so, which one has it been?
As of now, I would say last term, my challenge I enjoyed very much. It was ethical journalism, where we learned about journalism across the world and how to conduct it ethically, the spread of misinformation, how to prevent the spread of misinformation, how to detect like misinformation and propaganda. And it was intertwined with a lot of topics which I personally enjoy, like history and politics, because most of journalism is about reporting on current politics. And I enjoyed it very much. There's especially this one thing which I found very entertaining for me, which was to write a news article set in a historical event. Because obviously you have to write it, of course, but also learn about the event, how to report it correctly. And that was very, very fun, in my opinion. I enjoyed that very much.
Amazing. I'm really inspired by your intellectual curiosity, and I'd love to learn from you. Could you take a moment to share us any skill, knowledge, concept that you've recently learned that you think everyone should know?
Something I recently learned was in my financial literacy skill unit about the 50-30-20 rule. It's like a guideline which breaks down where your money should go. So it's always important to set a budget, and this guideline basically breaks down 50% should go to your necessities, be that like your rent, your groceries, the petrol for your car, the gas bill, the electricity bill. 30% should then go to your wants, because obviously you're a human being, you want to have fun in your life, maybe for some new clothes, for streaming services to watch your favorite movies, a new video game that just came out, you can also buy that with that money. And then what should the 20% go to? Basically savings and investments, like to your emergency fund, your retirement fund. Maybe if you want to enter the investment world, that's something which I learned, which I didn't know before. And I think it was very interesting, and I think I'll try to incorporate it in my future adult life as well.
Financial literacy is so important. I'm
It
so
is
happy
really
to hear
important.
that earlier you spoke about the business finance side of things, and now the personal element. They're both critical. I want to go a bit deeper into some of your intellectual curiosities. I know you mentioned history and politics. I'm curious, beyond learning in school, how else are you keeping up with current affairs? What's your go-to way of learning?
I learned a lot through reading. In the beginning, the way in which I was drawn to history was actually a history book, which I got as a birthday present once when I was like, I think 10. It was basically like young people's guide to world history, which went from antiquity and prehistory to the modern day. And I read that and I thought, wow, that's really interesting. So that's kind of what drew me into it. How I learn nowadays, probably one of the biggest ones is YouTube videos. When in my free time, I'm scrolling through YouTube and I see this video of like the history of, I don't know, the Byzantine Empire, for example. And I say, wow, okay, I want to learn about that. So I click it and I watch it. If it interests me, I then research more about it. I research online about it on forums. That's kind of like how I learn, because for some people, of course, they can say, learning is boring. I don't want to learn. I want to have fun. Well, for me, I think it's the opposite. When I'm learning and it's about a topic which I personally enjoy, I think learning is very entertaining for me. It's one of my favorite pastimes.
I couldn't agree more. And there is an intersection between learning and entertainment.
Yeah.
And we ought to explore that further. One of the most frequently asked questions that we get for learners enrolled with us is, how are you socializing outside of this, online school context? How are you also staying physically active? How would you respond to that?
The way I manage my social life and my school life and how I allocate my time is basically just through a simple schedule. We just printed it out. We like stuck it on a board, stuck it there. So whenever I look up, I see, now it's time to do this, or now I'm doing flourishing. Now I'm doing a skill unit. Now it's reading time, whatever. That's basically how I manage my school time. And then in whatever time I have left, basically we just look at what I can do in that time, which is for socializing or for exercise. For example, I try to go 3 times a week to a gym. Also, after dinner, I also go out to walk for like an hour. That's how I basically get my daily steps in. For socializing, when I'm in Dubai, since I live 50-50 in Germany and Dubai, I try to meet with people either from the school, which I say, hey, when I meet out at this time or that time. There's also this other thing, Teenovation, I think is the name. It's also like connected with the school. It's like organized by a parent. And every now and then I also attend some of these activities in order to meet new people. So that's a good way, which I've met many friends here in Dubai, the Teenovation activities.
Brilliant. It sounds like you're doing a great job putting yourself out there and prioritizing the relationships in your life as well. Final question. What are you most proud of?
Probably how I integrated actually into the school and how quickly it happened. Because in my old schools, for example, the one I attended before School of Humanity, I spent around 3 years in that school. And and it was very difficult for me to integrate, because the thing is that there were these friend groups which have existed since they were in kindergarten, and they were all going to the same school after like 8 years. So they're all very good friends. They always meet up. And then when new people arrive, it's kind of hard for them to integrate into those friend groups. Like the teachers were always, of course, nice to me, but it was difficult integrating it with the other people of the school. Eventually, I was able to integrate after like 1.5 or 2 years, but it took a while. And what fascinates me actually is how quickly it happened with School of Humanity, because it was like I arrived in September, and within a few weeks I said, yeah, this is my school. Like I said to myself, I entered these lessons and felt like I've been to the school all my life. I do the work, I talk with the facilitators, with the learners. I do the challenge workshops, the flourishing, and I speak and everything. I feel like I belong here. This is where I am, this is where I will be, and this is where I will graduate and everything. That's how it feels like to me. It's what I'm most proud of.
That's music to my ears. It makes me very happy to hear that you feel like you're part of a community that's really important to us. Philip, thank you so much for your time. It's been amazing learning from you, and also just learning more about your journey. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Of course. It's been fun here.
Glad to hear.